Xbox is an embarrassment. 4 Bethesda studios have shut down. Now, I'm no Xbox fan, but it's not Microsoft's fault. Bethesda is just trash. And let's be real here. Everyone knows that Microsoft just bought Bethesda for 2 things. Fallout and Elder Scrolls. Everything else is kind of like, who cares?
As a New York Mets fan, I know what it's like to live season after season with immense disappointment in your team. But at a certain point, you can't really blame the team anymore. You have to look at management as you watch them spin their wheels, continue to fail over and over, and convincing themselves that something's going to change with them in charge. Sounds familiar, right? Yep, that's Xbox. The same team that just shut down 4 studios and announced a brand new controller alongside it. It's unbelievable at a certain point. This is a company that already had a rough start to the year with thousands of layoffs, but they continue in this bottomless pit to find new lows that even at their worst...
Now, first of all, the thousands of layoffs don't exactly matter. The season of lockdowns is over, so a lot of people need to be fired because that's just how life simply works, honestly. And second of all, someone's not getting their early review copy of Elder Scrolls 6 at this point.
Points I couldn't even imagine. Just when you think, all right, they cleaned out house at the top of the year, that was awful, but hopefully this sets them up for the future. They shut down not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 studios. It reminds me of an interesting article from gamesindustry.biz, which was talking about how 2023 was the year of layoffs. But 2024, that's the year of studio closures, said some anonymous executives. Gee, I wonder who warned them of that. Tango Gameworks, gone. Arcane Austin, gone. Roundhouse...
Were they the ones who made Starfield? Wait, this is not Starfield. This looks way too good to be Starfield.
Studios, gone. Alpha Dog Games, gone. All 4 of these teams have been shut down via an email from Matt Booty. Naturally, I'm pissed off. I think that goes without saying. But more than anything, it's the immense disappointment I'm experiencing that is so powerful. It's almost unbearable. How do we get here? And more importantly, how do execs who continue to...
Well, we most likely honestly got here by putting in way too much money in things that had no actual real shot at recuperating that money. That's most likely how we got here.
Fail at their job. Continue to make people who make the things they want them to make pay the price. I'm talking about not just Xbox, but I look at Bungie, I look at all these companies where execs are making god-awful decisions and the people who make the things are paying the price. Make it make sense at a certain point in time. It's very apparent now that this company is moving toward a multi-platform strategy, leaning into very popular IP from Marvel, from Lucasfilms, from their own portfolio like Fallout, like Elder Scrolls, but puppeteering the whole thing like it's a part of the big plan. This is what they had laid out for them all along. And I'm not...
Yeah, sounds actually reasonable. Yeah, sounds like something that would happen. Was that bad? Is that supposed to be bad? I'm completely for firing all the useless people at all the useless studios, okay? There's a lot of bloat. There's a lot of fat that needs to be trimmed off. There's a lot of people who are in the game industry as developers who have absolutely no talent or anything. Have you ever seen the people representing Bethesda? Do you remember Starfield before it launched? The interviews with the developers. Purple hair, 50 different pins, and 15 mental illnesses on their Twitter bios. Yeah, those people probably deserve to be fired. No shit.
I'm not going to advocate for more studio shutdowns, but simply by logic alone, we need to take an honest look at this, okay? We have here Tango Gameworks, who made a phenomenal game that, according to Xbox executives, sold well enough and earned itself a port to other platforms to sell more copies. And eventually, I imagine, will be announced to be sold on Nintendo.
Yeah, this is Hi-Fi Rush. I literally never heard of it.
Switch. They get shut down. Okay, but then you have 343 with the Halo license who gets to fuck around for not 1, not 2, but 3 times in a row and stumble out the gate with a live service title, but yet they come out clean? What is the focus here?
Well, Halo's completely dead. No one can handle it, but they kind of need to keep churning it out because it probably makes still money, okay? The Halo fans, they're gonna buy it. It's the same as every fans. Diablo comes out, we buy it. Halo comes out, Halo fans buy it. It's the never-ending cycle of being a fan of a thing that's already dead, but you still are clinging on hope that it's somehow magically not gonna be trash.
What is the rationale here? It makes no sense if you look at their behavior in the past versus now. I know 343 got hit with layoffs, but by all intents and purposes, by Xbox's logic with how they approach Bethesda here, that team should have been fully shut down for being incompetent multiple releases in a row.
Well, actually, that's not their logic. I wanted to say this, but I didn't think it's going to come up again. But small studios getting shut down is fine. Again, this is what companies do, especially big companies that have a lot of subsidiaries and sister companies. They just put in a little bit of money, which is, you know, kind of risky, but it's not that much money, and they see what's getting cooked up. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad, maybe it's good, but it's still honestly not enough, like Hi-Fi Rush. And then they shut those studios down because why would you keep a studio around that you have no real purpose for? You don't. That's the thing, you don't.
It underlines a consistent mediocrity in Xbox and Microsoft's ability to identify talent. I'm sorry, again, I'm not advocating for letting 343 go, but there are...
I'm sorry, Maddie, but you think 76 is a good game, you think Starfield's a good game. You have problems identifying even good games, okay? Wow.
Phenomenal example of Xbox keeping around the floundering, failing aspects of their business, just like their execs are currently, at the same time as getting rid of stuff that has a much higher ceiling than what they're currently holding on to. I'm sorry, was it a part of your plan to shadow drop your best game of 2023, and when it didn't get the sales you wanted, you shut the whole team down? Was that your big
Which was that?
galaxy brain plan? This is going to give this studio the best chance to survive? Brilliant. Fucking brilliant. So this article that announced this information was originally at IGN.
Don't tell me Redfall was their big game. Like, come on, Redfall's so dead. Well, it is still hilarious, honestly.
We're going to go through it, and I'm going to talk bit by bit on the impact of all these studios being lost. It's not just about the games, but the message that Xbox is sending to its other developers at this point in time. So let's get to...
I'm sorry, but I'm a consumer, and I don't really care about talentless hack developers who can't do basic things right, okay? Trust me when I say this. When people are talking about, oh, the executives are responsible for it, yeah, the executives are responsible for a couple of things. But trust me, there is not a single executive in Microsoft who even knows what the inventory in Starfield looks like. They did not tell them to make a shitty inventory, okay? That's what the developers did on their own, because they're talentless losers. And I have absolutely no pity for people like this. I kind of like merit over everyone gets to do everything, because that's how you get a completely failed shitty society.
Reading. IGN
and bad games in this case, which is kind of more important.
And writes, Microsoft has closed a number of Bethesda studios, including Redfall maker Arcane Austin, Hi-Fi Rush, and the Evil Within developer Tango Gameworks, and more in devastating cuts at
The hell is Evil Within?
Bethesda, IGN can confirm. Alpha Dog Games, maker of mobile game Mighty Doom.
Devastating cuts to Bethesda, that is to be expected. Everyone knows Starfield failed horrendously, okay? Everyone knows Starfield is the biggest disappointment in gaming in, I don't know, at least a couple of years at this point. Starfield is absolutely a crowning achievement of incompetence. So obviously these people are going to get cut, because what's the point of 200 idiots if you can just cut them to 100 idiots and you still get the same thing?
Will also close. Roundhouse Games will be absorbed by Elder Scrolls Online developer ZeniMax Online Studios. Microsoft's currently valued at over $3 trillion.
Good.
Did not say how many staff will...
Good. My Microsoft stocks are, by the way, up. I think it was 40%. I don't know about you, but let's check. I like Microsoft's decision making. Well, let's see. Microsoft stocks 41.96% up. Microsoft, keep firing all these idiots. I am 100% for it.
will lose their jobs, but significant layoffs are inevitable. IGN has asked Bethesda for comment. Microsoft declined to expand further when contacted by IGN. This information was subsequently confirmed by each of these individual studios. Starting off with AlphaDog, they posted on their Twitter account today it was announced that AlphaDog Games will close and that development on Mighty Doom has come to an end.
The hell is Mighty Doom? If I Google that, will I be instantaneously disappointed?
Servers will be shutting down on August 7th. We have stopped players' ability to purchase any additional in-game currency. Thank you to everyone that spent time in Mighty Doom. Layoffs in general are tough for a specific reason. It's not just, oh, people lost their jobs, because much of the energy that receives is, well, tough shit. Go find a new job somewhere.
Exactly, because that's how it works. Bro, okay, listen. Everyone who is against getting rid of useless people in jobs is probably a useless person. Because if you're not a useless person, you know exactly how useless people in a job environment work. They just create problems for you. They just create more things that you need to do, more things that you need to work on, more things that you need to figure out. Everyone who is even remotely competent should be for getting rid of the useless gutter trash.
Somewhere else. The problem is that you want to nurture new talent. Who the hell wants to work in this industry when no one has job security? Who wants
the talented people. Yeah. I mean, the reality is you can figure out talented people just from a single interview if you know the interviewers not crap themselves, because there are specific questions in every job position that you can ask a person that they should know as a baseline, and then there's advanced things that they should know and you can ask them about. So, I mean, the talented people are always gonna get in. The trash is not gonna get in.
Wants to work here? Really? Be honest with yourselves. That's the problem beyond the sudden layoffs and the immediate impact. It's the future impact. Anyone who has an aspiration to work in game development sees this happening constantly for multiple years straight. Why would you ever want to get involved in that? I want to be a programmer. These games inspire me. But you see, this is how the people who make the games are treated. That's the problem. That's what so many people just aren't seeing. It's not just...
Man, this is turning into a Yang rant about evil corporations and how communism is the way forward.
Oh, shucks, someone's life is impacted. That's horrible on its own. It's about the future of the industry. We are in such a now state of mind. No one is considering the preservation, not just of software, which I've talked about extensively over on Retro Rebound. No one's considering the preservation of...
You see, okay, let's wind it a little bit back, right? Because all these speeches are stupid and pathetic at the end of the day. He himself just said, hey, the people at Halo, they have messed up already 3 times in a row. Why did they get to stay? So, what exactly? We should fire them? But that's not nurturing talent in your dumb opinion. So, again, it doesn't make sense. These people are like, oh, some people need to be fired, but other people don't need to be fired. Again, Xbox is not firing anyone of worth value in these companies. Everyone who actually is of worth value has most likely been given a position in a different place if they want to accept. That's most likely what's happening. Companies don't just get rid of visible value, okay? I have said this many times. I have sent out an email to roughly 1,500 people calling them all fucking stupid. The board of directors was mad at me, okay? And you know what they did? They were calm because I was known to do a good job at everything. So I didn't even get any repercussions for this. They just asked me, can you please apologize for this? And when I said no, well, they were pretty pissed then, but they still didn't say anything because it was gonna blow over. Then a hot MILF convinced me otherwise, and I wrote the worst apology that made things worse. But in any case, again, no repercussions. Why? Because people who do good things and are competent do not just get magically fired in most cases. You have such an incredibly extensive lifeline in any company that you are working at, it's insane. Unless you have stepped on very, very many wrong toes.
Talent. maintaining the people who work here now who can inspire and invite others to get involved in what could be a fantastic industry. That is the problem. Let's continue reading. On Redfall, the disastrous vampire co-op game will now not receive promised updates, including an offline mode and new character DLC, as Microsoft has ended all development on the game. Microsoft said Redfall will remain online to play, and it will provide a make-good offer for those who bought the Hero DLC. Arcane Leon, which is working on Marvel's Blade, survives the cull, as does Bethesda Game Studios, Fallout, Elder Scrolls Starfield, and Machine Games, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Doom developer id Software is also unaffected. This was then confirmed over...
Wow, look at that. The biggest franchise with the most potential. Who would have expected?
On a statement from Arcane Austin where they say, today it was announced that Arcane Austin will close and development will not continue on Redfall. To everyone that has supported the work from our Austin studio over the years, thank you. Thank you for spending time in our...
So that's like, what, 5 people maybe?
...worlds and making them your own. Arcane Leon will continue their focus on immersive experiences where they are hard at work at their upcoming project. Redfall players who purchased the Hero Pass as part of the Premium Bite Back Edition or the Premium Bite Back Upgrade will be eligible to receive the value of the upgrade. While there will be no further updates, Redfall servers will remain online for players to enjoy. Dinga Bakaba, studio head at Arcane Leon, sounded off in a Twitter thread, not only talking about how horrible this is, but saying to any executive reading this, friendly reminder that video games are an entertainment/cultural industry, and your business as a corporation is to take care of your artists/entertainers and help them create value for you. While also calling it a gut stab, saying Leon...
Wait, what the hell is this? This is absolutely terrible. Permission to be human to any executive reading this. A friendly reminder that video games are an entertainment, and you failed at providing it. / cultural industry? No, they're not. Video games are not a cultural industry. Get your shitty culture politics out of my video games. You deserve everything that's happening to you.
...is safe, but that you should hear the stories of these developers from all of the layoffs. Tango Gameworks also confirmed their closure, saying today it was announced that Tango Gameworks will close. Thank you to everyone that explored the worlds we created. Hi-Fi Rush, along with Tango's previous titles, will remain available and playable everywhere they are today. Now, obviously, this isn't a laughing matter, but you want to know what's really funny about this? According to Xbox executives, when my buddy Jez Corden posted what exactly determines success for an Xbox game these days. Hi-Fi Rush, as far as I know, had no physical version, no marketing, no multiplayer. If Xbox is pressuring ZeniMax to deliver sales of a game, maybe it shouldn't put so much emphasis on Xbox Game Pass. What's the goal here? To which Aaron Greenberg, who is a marketing director at Xbox, said, Hi-Fi Rush was a breakout hit for us and our players in all key measurements and expectations. We couldn't be happier with what the team at Tango Gameworks delivered with this surprise release.
Yeah. Sounds about right, honestly. Okay, so do you see a problem here? I don't, because... Okay, so the response is simple. Hi-Fi Rush was a success in sales and whatever, but sales is not the only thing that they are looking forward to. Again, line go up is not a meme, boys. Line always must go up. And Hi-Fi Rush is a niche thing that most people still don't know about, so it doesn't matter how many things it sold. It doesn't matter what happens. It's a niche thing. If you add marketing on top of it, most likely it won't change anything. It's just going to get more expensive. And above everything, most likely Hi-Fi Rush did not make money, too much money with microtransactions. So, it's a nice thing to have, but it's niche and has no future prospect value, considering with everything else that Microsoft currently has. And again, but just Bethesda, they have, 3 major IPs, as I am including Starfield technically here. So they have 3 major IPs to work with. So, putting resources in something like Hi-Fi Rush is not actually smart. If there are good people working in Hi-Fi Rush, talented people, they probably got offers to go work on different projects in different studios. That's what's most likely happened here.
Delivered with this surprise release. Yeah, bull fucking shit, dude. Seriously? That's your breakout hit. Here's the thing, man. Okay. this is the Diamond studio that's getting the worst of it, right? I think people will rationalize what's going on with Arcane Austin. I got my own bars for that, but I want to talk about Tango Gameworks. The main thought to me when I saw this news is
The hell is
Xbox
this?
will deeply regret this one day. No doubt about it in my mind.
Is this Resident Evil or Silent Hill? I'm not sure. I don't play those things.
This is the company that has gone on record a number of times saying, we're seeking talent from the East. We're looking.
This is something I called. This was from a video I did 3 years ago at this point. See, they're seeking to expand themselves in Japan. This was the thing when we actually did some serious analysis of stuff. Yeah, I know that's completely gone from this channel at this point. I love analyzing things in a serious manner, but you know, kind of long, doesn't actually make that many good views. But there's the bad, way more views. I was talking about this, that if Xbox doesn't do anything, it's 100% losing the console war. It's not even going to be close, because we analyzed Jesus, all the data that was available about Xbox sales and PlayStation sales and blah blah blah, and the big difference was East Japan essentially. Xbox have absolutely no market share in Japan, and PlayStation just had. That makes them bigger by default. That makes all their numbers better. So that was my prediction. Xbox needs to concentrate on Japan a lot, because they just don't exist there compared to PlayStation. And if PlayStation keeps on growing as more gaming culture is normalized in Japan, they're gonna get absolutely curb stomped. So yeah, look at this. Now they're talking about, oh, we need to actually kind of go into Japan. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock.
At Japanese studios. We are hoping to acquire Japanese studios. Bro, you shut down your only Japanese studio that you inherited. And by the way, they delivered your best game of 2023. What the fuck are we doing? What are we
Does not matter again.
doing? Make it make sense, dude.
It does make sense.
Unbelievable, the mismanagement here. This is a company that, I get it, because what it's looking like here is we're focusing on Fallout, Elder Scrolls, Starfield, and we're focusing on big IP like Blade, like Doom, like Indiana Jones, like the big blockbusters, The Outer Worlds 2. These are the big focuses for Xbox now. But you need studios that make your prestige pieces, your in the cuts, your diamonds in the rough, because they are going to create new fans. To me, the message here is like they're done trying in Japan. I don't see any level of rationale where you go, hey, we're still trying to crack through in Japan, and you shut down your only...
People who don't understand these things and speak about them are kind of annoying, in my honest opinion. Again, something like Hi-Fi Rush is not what they need in Japan. You know, a small breakout hit that, you know, sells 10,000 copies instead of the expected 5 does not matter in the battle over Japan, okay? It's like trying to fight Godzilla with, you know, a gun. A normal, basic handgun. It's not gonna work out. So you need to abandon all of these things. It's pointless. They need something big. They need their PUBG version of Japan.
That is in Japan. That is very good, and that had a very bright future, and just delivered a hit that people loved. And by the way, by merit of your own decision making, you may have set the game up for failure. Instead of shadow dropping it, you could have even put it in the Game Awards the year before, where everyone was losing their mind because they had nothing. In a year that was barren, Xbox had nothing in 2022. You could have actually set this game up for a better fate, potentially. Again, this is what I'm talking about with the failing upward in this industry. I've talked about it with writing, especially.
Well, writing's horrible. That I do actually 100% agree with. Man, Fallout 76 doesn't have a single decent line of dialogue. But let's see what else. Oh yeah. Starfield doesn't have a single decent line of dialogue. Fallout 4 has, well, not that many decent lines of dialogue, but it's still good. It's still good. You know, dialogue is just not something Bethesda does.
when I talk about Gotham Knights, and here with management, Xbox, Bungie, some of the best examples. Just watch and learn. I want to talk about Arcane Austin now, because this is a real...
Bungie completely destroyed themselves with Lightfall because they went DEI vote garbage bonanza. They literally destroyed themselves.
Really interesting one in that I see most people kind of shrugging their shoulders and going, yeah, Redfall was a pretty disastrous launch, like lowest rated Xbox game. And then you see Matt Booty say something like,
Redfall was an absolute joke. It's arguably, well, it is worse than Starfield. There's not even an argument against that, honestly. It is just horrible.
Right now, we're not thinking about closing out Arcane Austin only for not even a year later to do that. But I digress. We have this situation here where Arcane Austin is kind of getting the shoulder shrug. Like, yeah, they delivered a bad game, and that's what happens. I look at this as one of the most unfortunate losses in this. Not because I'm one of those Redfall defenders. Many people know I don't like the game at all. However, this was
yeah, now I see it. This is Prey. Yeah, now I can see it pretty easily.
Game that was forged during an era at Bethesda that was very against their core identity. They make single-player games, and they were forcing their single-player studios to make live service games. So you got Fallout 76, you got Wolfenstein Youngblood, and you got Redfall. Redfall being the last of that entire era. After delivering a game like Prey, if we are to believe the reports of Jason Schreier, 75% of the original talent from that game had fled the studio because of Redfall. So much of the original talent that was there with Arcane Austin was not the same ones who made Prey. Still, the people reason left Arcane Austin is because they went against their DNA. And if anyone deserved a second chance, just like Bethesda Game Studios, just like what we got with Machine Games, where now they're making Indiana Jones, Arcane Austin deserved the same fate, because Xbox has gone on record of
after Indiana Jones drops and it's gonna be a horrible disaster. I guess what's happening to them? Probably nothing, because Indiana Jones is already a failure. Like, there is no way that piece of shit succeeds.
Admitting that they didn't pay close enough attention to what was going on with Arcane Austin. And while I don't know, unless you threw a number of years at Redfall, what was going to save that game, so I'm not going to put every ounce of that on Xbox, but again, the oversights, the mismanagement, and you led them right down into the valley of death. I know it's easy to be naive and sit here and go, well, give them a chance, Xbox. They got more money than God himself. Like, of course, it's easy to sit here and think that and spout that. But truly, I think there is a level of optics that Xbox should be considering here that doesn't look good at all. And all...
What do you mean it doesn't look good? You yourself admitted not even 6 minutes ago that, hey, when these firings happen, most people say, haha, who cares, trash. So what kind of magical optics are we talking about here? Appealing to young, yeah?
All it shows is lots of things I'm bringing up here and showing you in this video have been inconsistent. You should never trust the word of Xbox, but now you simply cannot afford to ever trust the word of Xbox, because all that has happened here has...
Why would I trust a word of a company that's gonna sell my organs for profit if I accidentally sign the terms and whatever that thing is? Why?
It's flown in the face of
the terms
prior
and conditions.
Let's read this stupid ass email here where they write, in an email to staff sent by Matt Booty, head of Xbox Game Studios, Microsoft blamed the cuts on a reprioritization of titles and resources. The email...
Exactly what I said.
Verified by IGN is below. Today, I'm sharing changes we are making to our Bethesda and ZeniMax teams. These changes are grounded in prioritizing high-impact titles and further investing in Bethesda's portfolio of blockbuster games and beloved worlds, which you have nurtured over many decades. To double down on these franchises and invest to build new ones requires us to look across the business to identify the opportunities that are best positioned for success. This reprioritization of...
Wow, who would have expected that?
...titles and resources means a few teams will be realigned to others and that some of our colleagues...
Wow! Who would have expected that? Wait, but... He does edit... Matty does edited videos. So, he actually has this information about this, and he's still saying, oh, everyone's getting fired. No, exactly as I said, obviously. Again, talent does not just get yeeted and deleted. talent gets to stay. That's how it always works, almost.
Will be leaving us. Arcane Austin, this studio will close with
Unless you're unsocial talent, in which case, good luck, because no one even probably knows you're good at your job.
some members of the team joining other studios to work on projects across Bethesda. Arcane Austin has a history of making impactful and innovative games, and it is a pedigree that everyone should be proud of. Redfall's previous update will be its last as we end development for the game. The game and its servers will remain online for its players to enjoy and will provide make good offers to players who purchase the Hero DLC. Alpha Dog Studios. This studio will also close. We appreciate the team's creativity in bringing Doom to new players. Mighty Doom will be sunset on August 7th, and we will be turning off the ability for players to make any purchases in the game. Tango Gameworks will also close. We are thankful for their contributions to Bethesda and players around the world. Hi-Fi Rush will be available to players on
Who cares?
book game, and now they're being sent to work on Elder Scrolls Online. And look, I love ESO, I really do, but what the fuck is this, man? This is
You want to know the saddest fact about Elder Scrolls Online? It's actually like in the top 10 of the most popular online games, like World of Warcraft. Yeah, let that sink in for a moment. Absolute unbelievable. And the funny part is not a lot of people played.
is also a support studio that helped these teams launch games, as mentioned in this email. And this just shows that Xbox is leaning heavily into their own QA, their own departments, which oftentimes are contracted. And we saw how that went with games like Halo. Oh boy, let's keep reading here. With this consolidation of our Bethesda studio teams so that we can invest more deeply in our portfolio of games and new IP.
Oh, and by the way, just a small tidbit. Consolidation doesn't... this is not consolidation. Well, it is consolidation, but this is effectively probably the first part of like 2 or 3 more consolidations that's going to happen. Because you can't fire everyone instantaneously. Even if your company has a lot of rotten meat in it, you can't just get rid of it instantaneously. You need to find the first people you get rid of, then you hire people instead of them. In that time, you're giving chances to other people to actually prove that they're not incompetent morons. And, you see what happens. After a little while, month, a couple of months, depending on the company. The time frame here is completely dependent on the company. But on average, consolidation lasts up to a year. Sometimes even more, sometimes less. Depending on the size, depending on everything. But again, this is not the first round of layoffs. In a couple of months, there's going to be a second, smaller round of layoffs. And then there's going to be the last round of layoffs, probably. Which is going to be so small, no one's going to most likely even talk about it. But this is what's going to happen. This is just the first round of layoffs for Bethesda.
IP, a small number of roles across select Bethesda publishing and corporate teams will also be eliminated. Those whose roles will be impacted will be notified today, and we ask that you please treat your departing colleagues with respect and compassion. We will provide our full support to those who are impacted.
A small number of roles, that's strange though. Okay, maybe this is just a prelude. Because Bethesda hasn't been hit. Again, Starfield has failed on every level possible. Okay? The fact the fact alone that Starfield was put on Game Pass instantaneously is a complete red flag. So a lot of people who were working on Starfield are gonna get yeeted.
In today's notifications and through their transitions, including severance benefits informed by local laws. These changes are not only a reflection of the creativity and skill of the talented individuals at these teams or the risks they took to try new things. I acknowledge that these challenges are also disruptive to various support. As to me, more Fallout, more Elder Scrolls.
Good, that's what I want to hear. Good, keep closing the useless small studios that no one gives a shit about. Useless and small studios, we got a name for that. Indie. Okay? Not actually calling them useless and small studios. Indies are awesome. And if you're looking for some good indies, I would actually suggest looking into Hooded Horse. They make a lot of good stuff. Okay? And there's one other one. The one that made Soulstone Survivors and Death Must Die. That one. Those are actually like pretty tight and big ones. They make a lot of good stuff. Anyway, That was Mr. Matty Plays. One more person who has absolutely no idea what even the word corporation means, and then just talks about the appeals of communism and how everyone needs to be, like, better and not get fired for being trash. You know, when you structure society around its weakest link, your whole society becomes as strong as its weakest link. There's actually a real saying about that. Anyway, bye bye.